Partner Whitney Ward, who is live outside as the snow is, well, getting ready to fly at some point in time, Whitney.
Absolutely, Terry. You know, you can see the skies, or at least the air around us here is still very clear at this point. But if you look up, you can see that it is definitely starting to cloud up. It is darn cold outside. We know that that combination definitely can bring snow. You, in fact, both we commented earlier today, we could smell the snow in the air, and I definitely can smell that. So at this point, we know it's just a waiting game, and that has been the case pretty much all around town for drivers, as well as those crews who are responsible for keeping our streets clear and safe. Each and every city, though, ready to go at a moment's notice. We did catch up with them earlier today. Preps are well underway to make sure all the equipment and the supplies are stocked. Those crews also began pre-treating the roads and intersections this afternoon in those high traffic areas. The de-icing material sprayed on the roads is often mixed with salt to keep the snow from sticking at all. Crews tell Action News they will be keeping an eye on the sky until this storm passes. Now, clearly those work crews do have a couple of long days ahead of them as they wait for this snow to arrive, and then of course they have to move it and clear it all out of the way. At this point, though, you're probably wondering, what snow are you talking about? Because it hasn't started falling yet. So for the very latest on what we can expect in our neighborhoods and well beyond, we are going to bring in Storm Tracker Mike McCabe. Mike, you've been tracking this storm for a couple days. You've said yourself it's kind of a slow mover. It is definitely showing that tonight, but you say that it is coming. You've got the radar to track it. You're faster than anyone else in town. So what do we need to know and what can we expect?
Moments.
Okay, sounds very good, Mike. Thanks for tracking it. We can always trust you. And of course, all of the snow that is impending for us tonight and tomorrow, it means big changes for the morning hours, especially for our local schools, parents and kids trying to get out and about. So we actually called some of our biggest local districts to get a look at what their plans are. Richland is promising to have its decision on cancellations or delays by no later than 4:45 tomorrow morning, Pasco by 5 a.m., Kennewick by 6. So make sure to keep your TV right here for those reports. Keeper is the only place in town, remember, where you'll find those closings scrolling by that cover only the Tri-Cities area. No need to wait for Yakima. We also have closings on KeeperTV.com as well as our social media sites, Facebook and Twitter, so make sure that you're following us. And keep in mind, as Mike said, this storm is big, which means if you're traveling at all, anywhere, you're likely going to run into even more snow. In fact, it was downright dangerous on Snoqualmie Pass all day today. Heavy snow forcing crews to shut down I-90 for much of the morning. A full 93-mile stretch was closed after more than 2 feet of snow dumped in just 24 hours. Chains required right now on all vehicles. That is, unless you have four-wheel drive. Another foot still expected to fall in the Cascades tonight, another 1 to 2 more feet tomorrow. Obviously, it is going to continue. We've got a little bit of a lull in that freezing rain right now, but you can see that it definitely came down hard on top of all of the ice and snow that was already packed down on our roadways, and pretty much authorities told me it was the worst possible combination. As night fell, so did the freezing rain and the cars. Accidents piling up across the Tri-Cities. Cars spinning their way through intersections, while many other streets remained mostly deserted. A far cry from improvements made earlier in the day.
The salt that's on the road keeps things from being frozen, staying frozen.
Many drivers just anxiously awaiting getting back to their normal routine.
Mom's driving like a turtle, like 10 miles per hour.
Street crews work tirelessly to keep the main roads open, but even they admit it was an uphill battle.
Unfortunately, we had enough volume of snow in a short period enough time that we weren't able to move far into the residential areas. But we plan to keep working.
And it was those residential areas that became the focus after the main highways saw significant improvement. That is, until the sun went down and the freezing rain began to fall. From the highway to the side streets, everything quickly became coated in ice, reversing much of the progress made since it all started Tuesday night. Traffic flowed across the Blue Bridge later in the evening, but only after it was shut down around 5:30 because of icy conditions. Just the latest chapter in this winter storm. Now, we're also told this freezing rain completely changes the game for road crews. That's because the salt just doesn't have the same impact when it goes down on pure ice. So that means there's often very little those workers can do to increase your traction. And traction actually was one of the major issues on the Oregon side today. A massive stretch of I-84 through the northeastern part of the state completely closed for most of the night and early this morning. In fact, shortly after 1 a.m., the freeway between Biggs Junction and La Grande was shut down to all cars due to to that ice, and that is more than 150 miles of treacherous conditions. It took 5 hours before the road did open to drivers with chains or traction tires only, and it wasn't until lunchtime that those requirements lifted. At this hour, though, we're told that chains are required to still get on the freeway. No doubt all of this having an impact on stress and schedules, but it also has a definite financial impact. So we wanted to add up some of the totals that we've seen in these last few days of this storm. John Collette continues our team coverage now, looking at the numbers. Now, certainly there are a lot of kids, young and old, who are out enjoying this weather and the last few days off of school, but we are told, of course, that all of this late night freezing rain could double those impact numbers over the weekend. In fact, this day 3 of the winter storm has perhaps made the roads more dangerous than they've been all week, simply because of all the thick, hard ice. Now, this actually came off of one of our news cars here in the parking lot. You can see it's almost an inch thick. It is hard. It is heavy. So it is no longer just snow out here on the roadways. It really is dangerous. So do be careful if you're going out and about, and if you can, just stay safe inside. We are working live for you here in Pasco tonight. Terry, back to you.
All right. Thank you very much, Whitney.